Changes for the Cubs. Felix Pa is in to play center field. Angel Pagan's going to move over and play right.
Boy, and this is how the pieces are starting to fit together a little better for Lou Piniella. This is the best defensive outfield that the Cubs could possibly run out there, and with a 2-run lead in a ball game on the road, you want to get your best defense on the field. Took advantage of Cliff Floyd's offense with a couple of base hits in this game, and now goes with his best defense.
So PA in Floyd's spot. He'll lead off the 8th inning. And a 5th spot in the Cubs lineup. Yeah, Cliff with 2 hits today, and also remember, he had the big hit in the 9th inning yesterday that set up the game-winning run. He was removed for Pagan, who came in to pinch run and would eventually score the game-winning tally.
And this is the kind of thing it takes for a team to get on a roll, and you can't rely on one player to carry your team every day of a 162-game season. Everybody has to contribute at some point, and the contributions may not be headline-making contributions. They may be coming in to make a nice defensive play as a part of a double switch late in the ball game. Coming out of the bullpen, getting that one batter out in a clutch situation, and if everybody starts to feel like they're a gear in the machine, that's when things start to go well. You don't have to have a superstar performance every day, but do something to help your team win a ball game.
Soriano using the flip downs. And retires Przinski, who is 0 for 3. Hey, a big hello to Harry Thomas Harbison watching the game today. That's from his son, Sergeant First Class Anthony Harbison in Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Lou Piniella coming out and asking for the right-hander. So Sean Marshall is done after 6 1/3 shutout innings. A chance to get his 4th straight win. Carlos Marmol coming on when we come back. How about those numbers? The Cubs starting pitchers in this set. The thing I really like, 4 walks in 20 innings. Well, it's hard throwing Carlos Marmol. Heater inside, ball 1 on Iguchi.
Get a look at Marmol's numbers on the season. He has really been electric as of late. You know, just quickly getting back to the starting pitchers, the Chicago Cubs starting rotation has the 2nd lowest ERA in the National League. And that will go down even more today.
Jason Marquee back to the mound tomorrow. Ted Lilly Tuesday night. And the ace, Carlos Zambrano, Wednesday afternoon. Games 2 and 3 Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon, right here on WGN Sports. I'm looking forward to the matchup on Wednesday. 6'5", 255, and Carlos Zambrano. Jason Hirsch is like 6'8", 260, something like that. I mean, it's going to be a big matchup.
Battle of offensive linemen.
Yeah. Three and 1. Nice chat with Carlos on the leadoff man today. Are you convinced that Aramis is going to be well enough to play third base?
That remains to be seen. He hasn't looked comfortable running the bases, but I'm sure they'll get him out to Wrigley early tomorrow and bang some ground balls to his right, to his left, make him charge some and see how he handles it. And at that point, the decision will be made whether to start him defensively or keep him as a secret weapon off the bench.
I don't know how you felt when interleague play ended, but I guarantee you, Lou, considering the situation on the infield, I'm sure wouldn't mind to have a Another week's worth of DH games. Makes it easier to write out your lineup.
Well, I think, however, what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, even if Ramirez is not able to play defensively at third base, it's not like you're losing that much with Mark DeRosa, especially with the glove. He's a superior defensive third baseman. He's come up with some big base hits. And if Ramirez needs a few more days to get back to close to 100% strength, well, you feel like you've got that position covered. And Ramirez is a heck of a weapon to have off the bench late in the ballgame.
Lined in the left in front of Soriano. Time now for our Bud Light Fan Cam. One of music's great bands from the greatest city in America, Chicago.
I do believe in you, and I know you believe in me. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But now we realized love not all that it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Might be my favorite Chicago tune, Feeling Stronger Every Day from 1973. Today's Bud Light Fan Cam, always worth it. Fields was late.
Well, that could be the Cubs theme song over the last couple of weeks. I do believe I'm feeling stronger every day, finding ways to win ball games instead of finding ways to lose them.
The pitch hit foul.
My favorite Chicago song would be a more apt theme song for the White Sox right now, Low Down.
Well, they had a lot to choose from.
Rock and roll with horns, you gotta love it.
Iguchi, the runner at first. Fields representing the tying run, but he's going to head back to the dugout empty-handed.
Well, you'll get some swings and misses on high fastballs when you can accelerate that ball through the zone the way Carlos Marmol does. Really live arm, lets that ball go, has that late life we like to talk about. Especially when you elevate it up there above the letters, tough to catch up to.
Oaklawn native Rob Makoviak's going to bat for Torero. Without a hit in the pinch. Sean Marshall only made 81 pitches in his 6 1/3. But left with a shutout. Quick snap throw, and Iguchi's back. Throw was right on the money. Now, is that a more difficult throw with the left-handed batter in your way, but you also can maybe use that screen, right?
You're absolutely right. It is a more difficult throw depending on where that batter is in the box and where you receive the ball. But if you know going in you're going to snap a throw down to first base, you can kind of set yourself up to avoid the runner when you stride and throw to first and use that runner as a screen, or rather the batter as a screen. I mean, it can work against you as a catcher when that runner breaks for second base, because you don't always see his jump off of first, and you have to rely on your teammates to let you know that that runner's on the move when that left-handed batter is standing in the box blocking your view of the runner.
Ball 4. The first walk since Pasetnik led off the bottom of the first inning with a free pass. Larry Rothschild, also from Chicago. He heads out to chat with Marmol and Hill. While we have a moment, let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Cubs 2, White Sox nothing. Left-hander Will Oman up in the Cubs bullpen. We're in the bottom of the 7th, 2 on, 2 down. Juan Uribe at the plate against Carlos Marmol. The first pitch, ball 1. Well, Bobby Cox has a chance to make history tonight after tying the all-time record for ejections yesterday against Detroit. So a night game tonight, Tigers and the Braves in Atlanta. 2-0. We were watching the video this morning, and you said there were some hand gestures involved with maybe a strike zone. That's usually that's grounds for an ejection.
Not
right?
good. Yeah. Once the crowd can see that you're indicating you called that pitch that far outside, that's usually a free ticket to the clubhouse.
Way up in the air for Felix P.A. as the White Sox head around the bases. Doesn't matter. The inning is now over. Cubs feeling stronger every day as they go for the sweep, up 2-0.
That means it's time to put 2020 in the rear view and get to the final days of the Ford Built for the Holidays sales event. It's your last chance for our best offers of the season across the Ford lineup. So hurry in today. The Ford Built for the Holidays sales event ends soon.
Hurry to get an F-150 STX for just $299 a month during the final days of the Built for the Holidays sales event.
We are no stranger to adversity. Our bodies are made to be challenged, to adapt, to heal, and rebuild. At the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, we know that getting knocked down just gives us an opportunity to get back up, better and stronger than before. Because while setbacks can seem relentless, our bodies are resilient, and the comeback is always the best part.
All the parts that you need to keep her on the road. For work, for school, everywhere you go. But sometimes they can be hard to find. Rock Auto's got the parts for whatever you drive. Upkeep on that work truck, you just save some big bucks. All the parts you're looking for delivered to your front door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
Happy holidays.
If you were in town in trouble, if your nerves are wearing thin, park your boat.
You're watching Cubs Classics, proudly presented by Prevagen. Let's get back to the action.
And left-hander Boone Logan with his first pitch of the game and the first at bat for Felix P.A. Boone Logan has now appeared in every game in this series. Struck out Fontenot, the only hitter he faced in the 8th inning in game 2. Got a couple of ground ball outs in the 8th inning of game 1. A little bit outside. Hi, Bob. We mentioned the Cubs starters and how good they've been in this series. The White Sox starters, Burley 7 innings 2 runs Friday. Vasquez 7 innings 1 run on Saturday, and today Contreras 7 innings 2 runs. They have done more than give their team a chance to win. The Cubs have scored against their bullpen. And the White Sox offense again pretty dormant.
And when your offense is struggling the way the White Sox have been struggling this season, I mean, a 1-run deficit is tough to imagine coming back from. And the Cubs' ability to tack on some runs late in the ball games have kind of been a nail in the coffin. You can just feel the wind go out of the White Sox sails. Any chance they have of rallying late in the ball game seem to go away with those tack on runs by the Cubs.
Good at bat as PA draws the walk. First walk drawn by a Cubs hitter. Pagan will bat right-handed, but first he's going to chat with Mike Quade. I mentioned a little talk Quade and Pagan had after Ryan Theriot in the 9th inning hit a foul ball on the ground toward third base, and Mike was reminding Pagan, if that ball is on the ground anywhere, you've got to be on the move. There was some hesitation, even though the ball ended up foul. Mike Quade was saying, look, if that ball ends up fair, you have to be at home plate. And the next pitch, he got there on the squeeze. Pulled it back, took a strike.
Boy, all kinds of options in this situation. When you have a 2-run lead in the ball game, you feel a little more freewheeling. You can play hit and run. You can attempt to put down the sac bunt with PA speed. If you feel he can get a jump against the left-handed pitcher, you let him steal a base. That time Pagan, showing bunt on the first pitch, took it for a called strike.
Check on the runner.
Personally, I was always a big fan of showing bunt on that first pitch and then playing hit and run on the second pitch. Got the third baseman drawn way in. You got Konerko holding on at first base. The middle infielders are not quite sure which direction to react. Take advantage of that confusion, start the runner, and hope that that batter can find a hole somewhere.
Now Pagan bunted that ball, but it looked to be near the handle. And he had trouble controlling it as it went foul.
Yeah, ideally you bunt the ball out toward the end of the bat where it will deaden. Maybe take 1 or 2 bounces out into the infield grass and then just nearly come to a stop. You can see how he really gave with the bat that time, but unfortunately just a little bit too much. The ball trickled into foul territory.
Notice that time Angel got out of the way. He was in the left-handed batter's box earlier, and a friendly nudge by AJ as he went to get the ball. This time Pagan vacated quickly.
Well, then you know how much I love speed and what it brings to the game of baseball. With PA on at first and Pagan at the plate, this is where you'd like to see a ball hit down one of the lines or in the gap and watch these two young men run.
Base hit, left field, first and second. A walk and a single as the Cubs try to add to their lead. It's 11 hits on the day.
Well, you'll see where Josh Fields is positioned on this ball. He was playing in even with the baseline. Had trouble reacting to that ball hit to his left. Look how shallow he's playing. A step and a dive to his left. He just can't get there. If he's playing one step deeper, he gets to that ball. Once again, the way speed can affect this game. DeRosa with 1 sacrifice bunt on the season. Nobody out, 2 men on here. Could possibly see Mark DeRosa try to bunt that ball down the third base line.
Not showing and takes it low. A win today would send the Cubs over 500 away from Wrigley Field. They're 19-19 on the road. Hit well to right. Makoviak's going to have it go over his head. One hops a fence. PA had to wait. There's a collision at second base as Pagan and Uribe ran into one another. What's going on now? You have two runners there. The throw gets Pagan. And now they have DeRosa caught up. PA between home and third. Fields tagged him. I have to believe Lou Pinella's going to come out. Angel Pagan ran right in to Juan Uribe at second base. Mass confusion on the bases right now. So the umpires are going to get together.
Well, I'm not sure what the continuation rule is, but there's no doubt that Juan Uribe obstructed Angel Pagan as he came around second base out there. There was definitely contact. Second base umpire Ed Rapuano immediately pointed to it. He saw the play. PA went back to tag initially. Pagan got a great jump, and right there was the contact. And now from that point on, cue the circus music. Just a plethora of base running mistakes. We'll see how this all shakes out here. Eventually, PA is tagged out at home plate by Josh Fields, the third baseman.
Now, Bob, you know, the collision occurred, but PA was not trying to score anyway, so even if Pagan had not run into Uribe, I wonder if we still would have had a traffic jam out there on the bases.
I think after Pagan made contact with Uribe, he felt like, I need to get going again and get to third base, but if he would have looked up, he would have seen that PA was held at third base.
Should I get out the rule book?
Oh,
We've done that a lot this year.
I have a headache already just thinking about this play. So many different things. I mean, fundamentally, Mark DeRosa, when he sees that Pagan is caught between second and third, he needs to go stand on second base. You want to make sure you have runners at second and third when this play is over. Now, DeRosa's at second base, PA is at third base, and Pagan is caught in between. DeRosa should have stayed at second at that point. You lose a base runner, but you still have two men in scoring position.
And you could clearly see Mike Quade holding PA at third base, and you're right. After Pagan ran into Uribe, his initial action was to keep on heading toward third. So a 10-car pileup on the bases. There could be no outs. There could be one out. There might be two.
Joe West is the crew chief. Joe West and Ed Rapuano are the two senior members of this crew. C.B. Buckner, the home plate umpire, involved, as is Ed Hickox. We're going to call for a mulligan. Let's have a do-over. Boy, lost in the shuffle there was the rocket line drive that DeRosa hit to right field. Smoked that ball.
And the key's going to be the continuation you mentioned. My guess is Pagan will be safe and DeRosa might be called out. If that's the case, it would be second and third with one out. But there's no way there are going to be two outs.
PA went back to tag. He's going to advance to third base easily. Well, you can see the third base umpire was pointing at the obstruction at second base as well. Angel Pagan had his hands up. He knows there was obstruction out there by Uribe.
Now, I know the fans are getting a little anxious, but you know what? The umpires, this is not something we see a lot.
Oh,
they're piecing this thing together.
This is one of those rare plays that probably involves several different rules in the book.
So it looks to me, Bob, like the bases are going to be loaded. I think Joe West is going to send PA to third, Pagan to second, DeRosa to first. So the bases will be loaded, and that should be a single for Mark DeRosa.
Well, Ozzy's not waiting long for an explanation. He's pleading his case before Joe West even had an opportunity to tell him why they're ruling the way they are. A.J. Przinsky arguing with a couple of the other umpires out there in the middle of the infield. Hands being pointed in every which way.
Now A.J. Przinsky is getting into it with C.B. Buckner. We have two separate discussions going on. Half the umpiring crew with the White Sox manager, the other. And now Konerko involved.
Not sure where Ozzy was headed there. He was walking out toward the middle of the infield, and all the umpires are standing between the mound and home plate.
Well, Joe West is in his 30th year at this level. He's seen just about everything. I'm not sure he's seen this specific play.
Yeah, but the umpires are very good about that. I mean, as I said, I get headaches when I read the rule book and try to decipher some of the language in there and exactly what it means. But these umpires are very good about seeing how one rule dovetails into another rule and which rule overrules another rule. And they have classes in this. They go over these kind of odd plays that don't happen but maybe once or twice a year, if at all. And it took them a long time to come to their decision. And it's going to take him a long time to explain it to Ozzy.
Now Don Cooper telling A.J. Przinsky he wants Boone Logan to take some warm-up tosses. I also find it interesting that Lou Piniella did not come out. He waited and noticed, I think, that the umpires were going to get together. So he didn't come out and start arguing until they figured it out. And it worked out as well as it could have for the Cubs in this spot. The bases loaded with no outs. And it's another situation where we would love to have some sort of communication between either the crew chief or the home plate umpire and the press box to get their explanation, because we won't get the entire explanation until after the ball game. I'm sure a pool reporter will speak with Joe West. Now it looks to me like you have obstruction or interference and then the ball's dead. So that's it. So Ozzy just got ejected. You know, we're getting to the point where I think Ozzy's had his say.
This would fall under the excessive arguing rule, which usually tacks on some extra dollars to any fine that he may be levied for this ejection. Yeah, really the only possibility of a form of protest by the White Sox would be if they feel the umpires interpret the rules incorrectly. Now you'll see in the bottom of your picture Ed Hickok's the third base umpire, as well as Ed Rapuano at second base. He sees the obstruction out there in the middle of the field. It did not go unnoticed.
And now they're going to get together again before we resume. Now Joey Cora, who's the acting manager, is the bench coach. And we'll get further explanation. The bottom line is the bases are loaded with no outs. Bob Rosenberg, the longtime scorer here, also works at Wrigley Field, is on the phone next door. Not a big surprise. Trying to figure out how to score this thing. Boy, it's rare, Bob, when you see a play completed like that, and essentially you wipe out the entire second half of the play. I mean, ultimately what it looks like is a single for Mark DeRosa. This game has already been delayed for 10 minutes. How's that rule book going?
Oh, I told you I was going to get a headache. You have any Tylenol? I mean, as I mentioned, there's all kinds of subparagraphs and if and when and so forth and so on. Once again, PA goes back to tag. Pagan got a good read. He's around second base when he makes contact with Uribe right there. Obstruction is called. Quaddy holding the runner at third base, PA. DeRosa at the top of your picture, rounded first, went on to second base. Then a couple of different rundowns ensue. Eventually, PA is tagged out in front of home plate by Josh Fields. If there were no rules involved, that would be 2 outs right there and a runner at first base or second base, wherever DeRosa ultimately ended up. But as it stands, we've got bases loaded, nobody out.
So really everything ended up stopping when the obstruction occurred. DeRosa getting first base, Pagan owning second base, and PA at third. So the infield is in, and the pitch to Coy Hill hit high in the air. Medium depth out in left center. Andy Gonzalez makes a catch. PA headed toward the plate. Here comes the throw. Konerko is going to cut it off. And a rundown, believe it or not. And Pagan is tagged, and DeRosa will be able to get back to first. So the Cubs get their third run, but yet another rundown in the inning. That one counted. Sacrifice fly for Coy Hill.
Andy Gonzalez tries to get himself into position to throw out PA at home plate. That's not going to happen. Paul Konerko, realizing the speed of PA at third base, comes in, decides to cut the ball and take the out right in front of him. Angel Pagan was trying to advance from second to third base and was easily gunned down.
And Mark DeRosa still at first. I might walk next door between innings just to see if Rosie has a good explanation. As Torres rolls it to Uribe, they get the out at second. Wacky eighth inning. The Cubs add one and now lead 3-0.
Join us each week for the Off the Mound with Ryan Dempster podcast, presented by Sloan. Don't miss the in-depth conversations with some of the biggest names in baseball, plus celebrities, musicians, and more.
You think you know what a manager goes through as a player, but you have no idea until you actually go through some of those conversations or decisions and the kind of ups and downs of the season.
Download and subscribe to the Off the Mound with Ryan Dempster podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and it's all presented by our good friends at Sloan.
Yes. FanDuel Sportsbook makes it incredibly easy to get your winnings fast. But to make it even easier, we trained the world's fastest bird, a peregrine falcon, to deliver Will's payouts straight to him.
I love you, Payout Falcon. Honey, I've come into some money. And I'm going to need a new sandwich.
FanDuel Sportsbook. Get your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Place your first bet risk-free and get up to $1,000 back if you don't win.
We're Tovala, and we're not like other meal kits. We don't just deliver real, fresh food. Instead, our smart oven does the cooking for you. Just scan the barcode, sit back and relax until dinner is ready. No chopping, no dishes, no hard stuff. Tovala, fresh food that cooks itself. Try it risk-free for 100 days at tovala.com.
What if you could get prescribed birth control on your schedule? Nurex simplifies the system. With unlimited access to your medical team, no hassle or waiting at pharmacies, and birth control delivered every month to your door for one affordable price, with or without insurance, and less interruptions to your daily life. Get birth control on your own terms. Go to Nurex.com to get started.
All right, bottom of the 8th, top of the order, and Will Oman now pitching. All right, so the bottom line is it was a single for Mark DeRosa, and the play was essentially dead when the obstruction occurred as they pieced together what happened, and that's why the Cubs ended up with the bases loaded. What else did you gather?
I mean, basically that's it. The rest of it is lawyer ball, and I don't understand a lot of the words they used in there, but basically the gist of it is once the obstruction occurred, the umpire raises his hands, and from that point on the play is dead. The only kind of gray area was if the ball was actually in the air from the outfielder. A throw from the outfielder back to the infield was actually in the air when the obstruction occurred. At that point, if it ends up being an errant throw or a wild throw, the runners can go ahead and advance and the play continues, but that was not the case on that particular play, I think.
Well, yeah, you know, the thing about it is the obstruction means that the defender gets in the way, and you don't want to penalize the offense. And if you have a chance to maybe clear them, you don't want to send them all back. Great work by our entire crew. We had all the shots. And Rich Garcia, the umpire supervisor in the press box today, when a play is made on an obstructed runner, it's a dead ball. End of story.
There you go.
All right.
And as I said, really the only recourse the White Sox would have is if they feel that the umpires misinterpreted the rule. Now, that's really the only way you can protest a call. You cannot protest a judgment call. But if Ozzie Guillen and the White Sox feel like the umpires are misinterpreting the rule, you can protest that and get a hearing at some point in the future.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Pasednik. The next pitch by Oman is a chopper over the mound. Backhanded play. Fontenot throwing across his body. They get the out. So Ozzie Guillen in the aftermath was ejected, and Joey Cora, the bench coach, now running the White Sox. The only other thing I have for you is that the umpires took about 10 minutes to make that determination, so there must have been some other issues that could have come into play determining when that play actually did stop. I mean, it sounds like a simple resolution, but it was a pretty complicated discussion.
And we have the regular edition of the rule book up here. You carry it in your bag every day just in case we have plays like that. But the reality is there's an addendum to the rule book that looks like a dictionary. I mean, it has all possible scenarios that could conceivably happen on the field that are covered by the standard rule book, and then all the additions that are made after the fact and the kind of rulings that Major League Baseball wants the umpires to make. So it may even go into a lot more detail than what we gathered from the rule book itself.
Meanwhile, it's 1-2 on Andy Gonzalez, with the Cubs leading, having scored once in the last 3 innings, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. Backed up DeRosa. 2 outs in the 8th. The producer of Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports is Pete Toma. Our director is Skip Ellison. Mark Brady is our associate producer. The executive producer of WGN Sports, Bob Borwald. Thanks as well to our engineer in charge, Greg Gressel, and everyone from Trio Video. We could not do it without all of you. Our studio coordinator back at WGN, Joe Pizzo, the rest of our great WGN baseball crew. Got a great weekend here on the South Side. One and one.
What was that, 2 years ago that Juan Uribe decoyed Derek Lee at second base?
Was it Wrigley Field?
Yeah,
yep.
That's right. Well, this time he just decides to jump in front and tackle the guy.
Well, you know what? We don't know what Angel Pagan would have done if he had not collided with the White Sox shortstop. But Felix P.A. was clearly being held up at third base. So if Pagan was simply looking at where the ball wasn't right, he might have gotten caught up in a rundown. So if that were the case, Uribe did the Cubs a favor, but we'll never know. I mean, Bob, we almost had 3 Cubs between second and third base at the same time, which I don't think I've ever seen happen. And it wasn't happening there, but it was close. Will Oman blows away Jim Thome. We'll go to the 9th inning with the Cubs leading 3-0.
Some Western philosopher once said, "The point of life is helping each other get through it." These days, we're all looking forward to getting back to the way things were. But even the days we wish to forget have had moments we'll want to remember. Moments that defined us. And at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we know that in the end, how we get through it all will always depend on who we get through it all with.
Do you have concerns about mild memory loss related to aging? Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere. Prevagen, healthier brain, better life.
A little peace of mind is a big relief when you're managing seasonal symptoms or worried you've been exposed to COVID-19. Our symptom checker can help you navigate your health concerns fast and get you pointed in the right direction. Advocate Aurora Health, we're here for you.
Cubs have doubled up the White Sox on the hit board, and they are shutting them out where it counts 3-0. And Mike McDougal, a right-hander, is on.
Opponent's hitting .316 against McDougal. He does have 11 holds on the season, which is good enough to tie for 7th in the American League. Walks have always been a problem for big Mike McDougal. Throws extremely hard, has a hard time consistently finding the zone.
Well, it's one of those days where everything seems to be going the Cubs' way, and now the Brewers are trailing at home. Cardinals leading 1-0 in a rain delay in the 4th at home against Philadelphia. 1 strike on the Cubs leadoff man, who had a home run his last time up, his 15th on the year. And he has wrestled away the home run lead on the Cubs, 1 ahead of Aramis Ramirez. Well, there were rumors last year the White Sox were in line to possibly get Alfonso Soriano from Washington. Didn't happen. He became a free agent, signed a big 8-year contract with the Cubs. I want to give a shout out to huge Cub fan from Belize, Claude Garcia. He's been watching the Cubs on WGN since his childhood. Thanks to Jasmine for the great email. Busted bat roller. Uribe scoops it up, throw to first, gets it. So happy 34th birthday to Claude Garcia. Thanks for watching.
Boy, when Soriano breaks a bat, there's no doubt about it. That barrel goes whirly-birding out on the left side of the infield. He uses that big, heavy, big-barreled bat, thin little handle. And when it breaks, the barrel usually ends up going about as far as the baseball.
I know the Cubs have only scored 3 runs, but I don't think we've seen them play a better game all around the entire season. And the one gap they had on the bases ended up working out just fine because of the obstruction.
Well, it worked out okay. I mean, the Cubs still did have the bases loaded with nobody out and scored 1. You'd have liked to have gotten a few more out of that situation, but 1's better than none.
Defensively, just tremendous all afternoon. Great pitching once again, and some timely hitting. Yeah, it does remind you a little bit of who's on first, what's on second. I don't know's on third. Abbott and Costello. That was a crazy play.
Cue the Calliope music. It happens occasionally on the field of play. You get some unusual things that don't fall neatly into a niche in the rule book, and umpires have to get together and sort it out, and this time it came out in favor of the Cubs.
2-2.
I mean, that's a fairly regular occurrence in any Little League game around the country when you've had one very aggressive fast runner trailing a cautious slow runner, and you end up with 2 or 3 guys standing on the same base sometimes, but you rarely see it at the big league level.
Fontenot fouled it off his foot. He has protection on that front leg.
Well, by his reaction, I'm guessing that foul ball missed the protective pad. Well, Mike's put together some good at bats. A couple of base hits in the ball game today. Deep fly ball to center field, and that one, yeah, it did hit the guard. Thank you.
Yeah, it actually moved it. That's why he had to readjust.
So I couldn't wear one of those. It slowed me down too much. I probably could have worn both shin guards to the plate to hit with. It wouldn't have affected anything.
You didn't go up there with the elbow guard and the whole deal, did you?
No, and we'll get into that at a point in the very near future.
Right.
You know, this whole thing about the body armor, and guys are still wearing elbow guards who had elbow surgery 10 years ago. I think it's healed. The closer du jour, Bob Howery, warming up. We would expect to see him in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Fast and snappy bottom of the 9th yesterday. A couple of strikeouts to start the inning, and then a lazy fly ball to left field by Podsednik to end the ball game against Bob Howery.
There's a walk. Fontenot on his last 3 times. Coaxes a walk out of Mike McDougall. Derek Lee trying to keep his hitting streak going. It's at 7, but he's 0 for 4 today. Long look by McDougall. Now he's set. just off the plate. Minnesota beat Florida 7-4 the final. Johan Santana with his 8th win against 6 losses. He beat Byung-Hyun Kim. The Mets crushed the A's 10-2 at Shea. Mets started the day with a 3-game lead over the Phillies. Runner goes, a hit and run. It's popped up. Tampa Bay over the Dodgers, the final 9-4. Edwin Jackson had lost his first 8 decisions, but he finally got a win.
Boy, good jump that time by Fontenot over at first base. He got his first stolen bag of the season back in the 7th inning. Had a great jump, but D-Lee fouled the ball off to the right side.
One, two. Ken Griffey Jr. with his 20th, as he has gone deep in Seattle. He got a great ovation when he made his first appearance back in Seattle Friday night. I wonder if the Mariners fans were cheering him in the first inning when he hit the home run today. Fontenot runs. It'll pop up. Well, Michael have to head back to first. Foul ball anyway. Konerko, or rather Przinski with a catch. Fontenot back. So Derek Lee 0 for 5. With his team leading 3-0. That's Matt Thornton up in the White Sox pen. The end of the bat, dribbled foul.
A very productive day for Aramis Ramirez today. A single, a double. He scored a run. He lined out to third and lined out to center field. He's hit the ball hard every time up today. Well, the first single was a little bit of a floater out into left center that dropped between 3 White Sox defenders, but that's still a base hit.
By the way, the home run for Griffey, number 583 in his career. But he's not too far away from joining Sammy Sosa and company in the 600 club. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th. Last year, the entire season, the White Sox were shut out 6 times. They have been shut out 5 times already this year through 70 games. Back to the pitcher. And they get the out 1-3. 1 out walk, no runs. Bottom 9. Cubs going for their first ever sweep on the south side of town when we come back.
We are no stranger to adversity. Our bodies are made to be challenged, to adapt, to heal, and rebuild. At the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, we know that getting knocked down just gives us an opportunity to get back up, better and stronger than before. Because while setbacks can seem relentless, our bodies are resilient, and the comeback is always the best part.
All the parts that you need to keep her on the road. For work, for school, everywhere you go. But sometimes they can be hard to find. Rock Auto's got the parts for whatever you drive. Upkeep on that work truck, you just save some big bucks. All the parts you're looking for delivered to your front door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
When you're a true fan, You take every opportunity to show it. You don't let anything stand in your way. When you show team pride, you show it in the grandest of gestures. Even right down to the way you pay. Hey. If you cheer for Chicago baseball, we've got you covered.
Yeah, but that was 2005.
You're watching Cubs Classics, proudly presented by Prevagen. Let's get back to the action.
Well, Bob Howry, a former member of the Chicago White Sox, picked up the save yesterday. His second career save against his former team. He has a career 2.35 earned run average against the White Sox. This will be his 22nd appearance against them. So looking to make it 2 in a row. Ryan Dempster day-to-day with a strained oblique. And he faces Paul Konerko. Brzezinski, Iguchi also due up. First pitch swinging, and Fontenot's drifting out. 1 out. And don't forget to jump on Cubs.com for the ultimate 7th inning stretch competition. And one passionate and loyal Cubs fan ultimately will get the opportunity to conduct Take Me Out to the Ballgame during the 7th inning stretch on September 22nd at Wrigley Field.
Well, if you're Bob Howry, you love the fact that Paul Konerko came up to the plate and swung at the first pitch, made an out. You have to assume AJ is going to take a strike, get ahead in the count right here.
Just had a shot of Dave Otto, John McDonough, and Dr. Steven Adams, a Cubs team physician. The loss would send the White Sox to their 5th consecutive defeat. It would make them 4-14 against the National League. Cubs would even up the all-time series, 30 apiece. And the 5 wins would be their most in a season against the White Sox. Here comes the 2-1. He checked his swing, 3 balls and a strike. Well, if you hold on today, Bob, the key is to sustain it, keep it going, heading back home. The Rockies got swept over the weekend, but they had been playing their best baseball of the year prior to Friday. Brzezinski's on with a walk. And then the first place Brewers come in after the off day Thursday. This would be the second shutout.
We talked about it before the ball game between ourselves up here in the booth. There have been a lot of games this season where they felt like they were possible breakthrough games, and I think we both felt this could be one today after winning the first 2 games of this series. Getting back into National League play starting tomorrow, playing the crosstown rivals. This is one of those games, if you can come out and find a way to win, sweep the series, that should give you some momentum going into the series starting at Wrigley Field tomorrow night. If you happen to drop this ball game, then you feel like you're spinning your wheels a little bit again. I guess to put it in a way, early in the season, it seems like every time the Cubs took a step forward, they would take 2 steps backward. And now it seems like they take a couple steps forward, and when they do backslide, it's only 1 step, and then they're trying to move forward once again. So in my eyes, this would be a big win today. The
Paid crowd today, 39,194. The largest of the weekend. A few Sox fans have headed for the exits, but I'm seeing a lot of blue in this ballpark. They want to be here when the third out is recorded. This tourist can't get it. So now the White Sox are going to bring the tying run to the plate. Iguchi with his third hit in 4 tries.
Now, base hits you can understand. With a 3-run lead in the bottom of the 9th inning, you want your pitcher to stand out there and throw strikes. It was the walk to A.J. Przinsky that's probably a little troubling to Larry Rothschild and Lou Piniella. You got a team in a 3-0 hole. You have to make them earn every base runner they get.
Przinsky the lead runner. Iguchi behind him. Cubs want a double play to end it. Howery, the 4th Cubs pitcher today.
Well, that's absolutely the perfect pitch in this situation. That fastball at the knees on the outside corner. Not much a hitter can do with that. If he does swing at it, put it in play, chances are it's going to be a double play ground ball right at somebody. Throws a slider off of the same slot that time. Just dropped low and away.
As always, Howery very deliberate. Runs it to 2-1. Even up 2-2. Big pitch.
Once again, right at the bottom of the kneecaps. This one scoots over a little bit off the outside corner for another called strike.
Ozzie was kicked out in the top of the 8th after the obstruction play. 2-2 from Howery. Fouled away. The next Cubs road trip will be their final one before the All-Star break. Believe it or not that far away. 4 in Washington, 3 at Pittsburgh, and then the All-Star game in San Francisco. Another 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 down.
After a steady diet of pitches down around the knees, middle of the plate away, Bob Howery uncorks a fastball up and in. Fields just can't catch up to it.
Been a great weekend for the Cub fans here. It's Rob Makoviak. The first pitch fouled back. Howery's ready. The 0-1 pitch. Up and away. Now the Sox fan just staying in his seat. Cubs fan was up. Great start by Sean Marshall. Got into the 7th today, allowing no runs. 1 strike away. Cubs sweep. Bob Howery strikes out Fields and Makoviak, and for the first time ever, they come into U.S. Cellular Field and sweep the White Sox. And the pitchers held the White Sox to 2 runs on 16 hits in the entire weekend. What a performance. We've got to talk about that play at first base. Did you think you were going to have time to get Jim Thome?
I was hoping so. That ball ate me up. I got a big old mark on my wrist, but you know, Jim isn't the fastest guy, so I thought I might have a chance. Marshall did a good job getting over, and we were able to get him.
You know, Derek, I think that's the important part of the play. You knew who the runner was. You know Jim Thome doesn't run extremely well, so if you could recover quickly enough, you still had a chance to get him. And I think not only from you, but from all your teammates, we've seen a lot more forethought going into your play on the field. You know who the opposition is, you know what you might be able to do, and consequently you're making a lot more good plays on defense.
Yeah, without a question, we're playing just better baseball around. Today the defense was great. Our pitching's been great all along, so if we can play some good defense behind them, you know, we can have some low-scoring games like this.
I'm not going to ask you to interpret the rule book, but have you seen a play as wild as that one?
I have never seen a play like that. All 3 guys got in a run down. 2 guys got tagged out, and we end up bases loaded. Nobody out. I've never seen it.
Pretty amazing. How about your leadoff hitter? I said it earlier. When he gets hot like he is right now, he's probably the best hitter in the game.
He's when he's locked in like he is now, you just hope he just misses one, because he's right on everything, and he hits it a long way. He's fun to watch.
And I think that's really important, Derek, for your ball club. I mean, yourself and Aramis and Alfonso Soriano, anybody can get hot at a given moment, but when somebody is not hot, somebody else has to be there to pick them up.
Right, exactly. You know, we have a few guys that can carry this team, and right now Sori's doing it. So we'll ride him while he's hot, and like you said, if he cools off, myself or Rami can pick him up.
All right, last question, Derek. I'm not asking for a specific answer, but do you have any sort of feeling on when your appeal might be heard?
You know, I wish I knew. I don't know. I'm guessing a couple weeks, and hopefully we can get this thing over with and done.
Keep you on the field as long as possible. Thanks, D.
Thank you, guys.
That's Derek Lee, who actually went 0 for 5 today, but that great defensive play, and the Cubs sweep, shutting out the White Sox today. The final 3-0.
Thanks for watching Cubs Classics, proudly presented by Prevagen.